Hey there, Capricorn. Welcome to your February 2020 reading. Many requests here to have Apollo at the beginning, so I think he'll be a regular just to greet everyone and welcome you into the video and into the reading for the month. So with him having said hello, I'm going to put him down so he can rest and we can get to work here. So nice to see everyone. I could see that there was a lot of activity happening already in the room, and welcome, by the way, to the new member that just joined. One thing, by the way, if you like what you see here today, there is a join button, and that's a great way to show support for just all of the production that goes into this, as are super chats. Super chats are a little icon that you can click on right by the chat box. I'll pull a sheet of paper up in a second and talk about that. But first things first, let me introduce myself. My name is Ashbaugh, and each and every month I show up to help you navigate through all of the potential opportunities and blocks that are coming through each and every month. And we're going to be looking at the month of February. I know we're a couple weeks early, but part of the reason I do that is so that you have a lot of time to exercise free will. And also you can take a look at both the January and the February readings and really get a full view of what's happening and what's about to happen. So I can't wait to get started. In fact, as I was getting ready, a card flipped out. We'll be talking about that in just a second. There's a lot of activation, a lot of activity around your sign this month, and I think it's going to be really impactful. If you've never watched one of these, just to answer a couple quick questions, you can always look at this for your sun, your rising, or your moon, if you happen to know all three. If you don't, just stick with your birth sign. That'll be plenty. You can also watch on behalf of a loved one or a friend in your life as well. These are all live, as you can tell. We have a few more coming up. If you want to look at the live schedule, my moderators will put a link so that you can check that out. But it's on my website, nicholasashbaugh.com, and all of the dates are there. There are also videos on the main YouTube page, and you can click a little reminder there so that you don't miss it. Follow me on social media too, because I use stories, and also I will tweet out reminders as well. So Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter are really great ways to keep track of all of that. This is live, and I do appreciate support. So if you want to do a super chat, you can do that. Here's that piece of paper that I was looking for a second ago. It's this little icon. And unlike some readers, I'm not going to do back and forth Q&A. It's really just a way for you to give me a high five and say thank you. So you can put like a little unicorn sticker or just say, I like this, or thank you. And that's much appreciated. After the video's live, I'll put a little thank you on the replay page as well. And really know that it helps me with keeping supplies up to date and setting up the time. So in advance, I'm going to say thanks so that I don't have to interrupt the flow. One thing that is important is this is a community and a safe space. So Ryan and Maria, thank you for being present and facilitating in the chat room and making sure everybody's taken care of. And with that being said, let's talk about the format. I separate the reading into a few basic parts. I'm going to do the channeled information here in just a second. After that, I look at the Celtic cross, and then I expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Because these are live and we can really connect and start to enjoy the energy of all being here at the same time, I will also do a meditation. And prior to the meditation, we'll tap into some special things on manifestation, how you can get closer to love if you're looking for love, or create some success or movement in career if that's something that you want. Whatever you're trying to attract in your life, we're going to focus on that during the meditation today. First things first, as I was meditating on the cards, actually before I even started to meditate, I selected a deck that I wanted to use and a card flipped out. So I want to acknowledge this, and then I'll talk about the channeled message. The card that flipped out was the Eight of Cups. This is a very cyclical card. So sometimes it can show something coming back into your life. It can also show, for some of you, if there's a project or a thing that you want to create or work on, that you've kind of put it on the back shelf. Sometimes the Eight of Cups is coupled with like Hanged Man, death, or even the Tower card, which is showing like, how can I take something that's been there that I've wanted to see change and then kind of bring some movement to it. So it flows nicely into what I was already receiving in the channeled message, which was this would be a time for activation and to ignite, to basically take something and make it happen. So it says now is the time to create and take that action. And I think for you, what we want to move past is hesitation, any sort of feeling of fear or uncertainty. And maybe as we look at the Celtic cross here in just a moment, see if there's any indications as far as, is the time right now? But what I get is that it is. So I really want to see maybe perhaps what it is that's holding you back and how I can help you pull down that wall so that you can move forward and start to see things happen. better yet, if there's anything that you really want to step away from, this can be sort of like an old relationship where it's on, off, or an addiction, or a project, like I said, that's just not getting where it needs to be. We want to take the cycle, break it, and make it go in the right direction, okay? So either you're going to be moving towards or away from something. That's the big sort of energy that I got before I even looked at the catalyst. So it's interesting. Your sign had a lot of activity to the point that a card flipped out of the deck. So I know this is going to be a very impactful reading today, and I can't wait to see what's coming through. I want to welcome everybody. I know that there's some folks that are watching across the world. It's very late or very early. So thank you so much for showing up. And if you join late or if you fall asleep because it's so early, remember this will always be available on replay afterwards. All right, I'm going to turn the camera now down, and you'll see Apollo there getting settled in his bed while I'm doing that. And please bear with me as I lay out all the cards. When this is done, I will pull each and every card up and talk about what we see. And I'm going to leave this card out since it kind of volunteered, and we'll relate that as a sort of bonus card as well. All right. Thank you so much for being patient as I got all of the cards laid out in front of me. And the proper catalyst, not just the Eight of Cups, but these two are going to probably work in tandem, is the guilt card here. And for many of us, it's so interesting that we don't give ourselves sometimes permission to do what we need to do because of other people's projections. And you can kind of see the images kind of coming out of her head. So this doesn't necessarily have to represent anything that's wrong with you. It can sometimes be other people's energy that we kind of absorb, especially when you have a big heart, when you're empathic, when you're a light worker, if you're a teacher, a mother, anybody that kind of cares about other people in their lives. Sometimes it's like a sponge, and you start to take on the weight of their hopes, fears, anxieties, and it gets difficult to sort of like decide what's theirs, what's yours. So this month, and I can actually see it in, it could affect wealth, but it's actually showing like meditation is really key to make sure that you're not missing something, that you can tune into yourself. I think that stepping aside from that feeling of guilt or I can't or I shouldn't, and thinking, where does it come from? Is it because I was told that I can't, or I was taught that I can't, or is it something that I'm just feeling intuitively like it's not the right thing? I think it's important to figure out where that information is coming from, and that really can only happen through meditation, rest, taking a deep breath, and that's why we saw yoga showing up. So I think that it will be very important to do that rest, and also to look at and see if this is something that's repeated itself in the past. The good thing with the Eight of Cups is you can make and you can break a cycle. And what we saw here this month is you can actually start new things. So if you break a cycle, you could decide to activate or start something new and see really good momentum start because of that. You're not kind of having this thing that is constantly tugging at you. I think guilt is it's an interesting thing. If there's something in your life that, I mean, for the most part, if it's someone making you feel guilty because you want to do something that's right for you, that's not a good thing. If you're feeling guilty about something because you want to clear your conscience or you need to heal something, I think that could be a good thing. Because whenever we hold on to anger, or if we're jealous of someone, or if there's this feeling between you and someone else, it's just a little bit turbulent. It's not clear. It's not kind. If you take any time this month to clear it, not only will that kind of make you not feel guilty, but it's going to elevate your energy. It's going to elevate their energy, and it's going to allow both of you to focus on things that are better. If you were with me for the previous sign, their center card had to do with making good choices of investment of energy. There's a little bit of that here with you, but I think for one of the big opportunities with the 5 of Cups is deciding, this is your center card, where am I at right now? Am I happy with my life? And what's been going on, is it as big a deal as I've made it? Because the 5 of Cups, much like the 4 of Cups, is a perspective card. You can't see it as much with this particular illustration, and we'll talk about what I'm seeing in this illustration instead. Normally, you would see some cups spilled, some cups upright. You would have a choice to decide, do I want to try to focus on what's lost, or do I want to develop what remains? So some of you could be at a decision point where it's like, do I leave or do I stay? A job, a relationship, anything. And also, it's just showing you that the energy of positivity, and that's what we see with the galloping horses here, can take you in a positive direction, just like the ocean tides. We saw that in the previous reading as well. So you can build or kind of destroy momentum, and that momentum can be positive or negative. So why not build positive momentum and think, I've got this, I can handle this. I'm not worried about what I've gone through, because it gave me context, it gave me understanding so that I can make better decisions moving forward. Right on top of that, I see a card that has been coming up so much this month. I think that the Empress is sort of like the, what would you call, like the mascot of February. So great developmental energy with this. You can do what you reap, what you sow. That's part of this. It's also a highly fertile card, and the fact that it's right there at the center means that growth, abundance, expansion is at your fingertips. But there is ownership associated with the Empress, and that's what makes some of us uncomfortable, because it does mean to a great degree that we have to look at what we want to change and do it. We can't wait for someone to tell us, and even if they do, we still have to be the one that sort of like, takes it to the next level. So this is your chance to pull the reins, because we see those horses here in the 5 of Cups, and try to move your energy in the right direction. Don't go down the path of frustration, of anger, of guilt, which we saw. Instead, look towards opportunity, optimism, healing. All of that will bring you into a better place, because with the Empress, you want to foster good things. You want to develop good things. She's also really healing. So I think that if there is someone in your life or something in your life where you feel like, I just haven't had an ability to make amends, to say I'm sorry, there's a chance this month. And also, I feel like the person's in a very receptive place, because divine feminine energy fosters that receptivity as well. And I'm kind of harping on this a bit because we look at the Devil card in the deep past. It's reversed. And it's interesting that we see it represented as a shadow energy in this one. And beyond the shadows, we actually see love. And if you ever look at a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith version of the Devils, it's just an inverted or darker version of the Lovers. So instead of an archangel, we have the Devil. Instead of paradise, we have the chains. And to me, the Devil card usually shows something that's holding you back. And I think for some of you, it could be a connection to someone that you loved and probably still love, but the energy between you kind of got muddied a bit. And so I think that what you can do this month is try to bring it back to a place of, why did I like them originally? How could their perspective actually be rooted in love? And can I at least understand how it got to the point that it did? I once had someone that was just doing terrible things in my life, and I had a Reiki teacher that was talking to me about the fact that I had attracted that situation and that personality. So the first thing she said is, why don't you look and see what this person taught you about yourself? Because she triggered you. And then the other thing she said is, why don't you take a look at what you can do to forgive this person? Because they're just human. They're going on a path. You had a divine contract outside of this world where you decided to come in, teach each other things, and how you taught each other was up to you. But all this person is doing is completing their soul path. And I thought, okay. And really what I saw this person doing was acting out of jealousy. And once I saw jealousy as a form of love, a very twisted version of love, but love nonetheless, then I started to think, well, I can't hate someone for loving me. I can't get angry that they don't have the tools to sort of work on themselves, because jealousy comes through when people don't know how to develop. So look at yours. Where is it rooted? If it's possession, it's a fear of being left alone sometimes. So if someone's very possessive, or if you're possessive of someone else, it's because of that fear of isolation. If it's jealousy, it's because there's an opportunity for you to work on yourself. If someone else is jealous, that's the same thing. They actually admire you. They just aren't expressing that admiration in a higher frequency. Almost every negative energy can be somehow illustrated or understood by something lacking in the person that's demonstrating that. So see their lack, work on that lack in yourself, and then also understand that maybe there's a chance for you to kind of let it go, because they don't need to get more negative energy. Negative attracts negative. So at the very least, release the shackles. On a deeper level, understand the motive and the reason that it came into your life. And once you do that, you're empowered. You can do whatever you want. You can go solo and not worry about this person. There's no need for revenge. And I've talked about this. I have a book that I'll be self-releasing later this year. It's not a how-to. It's actually a sci-fi fantasy with metaphysical overtones. But I had an editor that was telling me that I needed to put in a theme of revenge. And one thing that I told them was that redemption is much stronger and it's more spiritual. So I think for many of you, the message here is forgiveness, redemption, understanding. If you can get to those sort of core energies, this goes away. It's just a shadow. I like that it's actually shown as the shadow card here. It's not the devil, because we create that energy that's in the devil card. It's not real. Okay. So you can also go through the shadow and kind of like just like the sun can burn away fog, or the wind can blow the clouds away, you can do the same thing with the negative energy from the past. If there's anything that you've overcome, an addictive tendency, a difficult relationship, anything where it's like, I really want to leave that in the past, this particular month, the universe is coming back, giving you a chance to really take a look at that and think to yourself, yes, universe, I really don't want it, because that person could orbit back into your life. Think of it as like Halley's Comet, or one of those events that only happens every, every 70 years or 100 years. Sometimes when we think we've walked away from something, there's one more pass that the universe sends through. So I see kind of like a comet coming through your life this month. And whether it's a person, like an ex, or a habit in your life, maybe you gave up some sort of substance abuse, or you might have gotten through a really difficult time and you hear a song on the radio, or you read something and it triggers a memory. That's all it is. It's a shadow from the past. You get a choice to either feed the shadow or move forward. And I encourage you to move forward. Okay. Ace of Wands in reverse. The Ace of Wands is one of my favorite cards, because it's all about being able to expand your thoughts, ideation, to come up with new ideas. And what we see here is that you have an inner wisdom here with this fox, I believe. And I want you to trust your first impression, your inner instinct. I actually like that we have an animal on this card. It's one of the few decks that shows like animal totems. So don't second guess yourself. And also don't give away your decision-making capability, because we have the Empress at the center. And I would say if there's something that you really want to create in your life, don't seek out approval from others. The Empress, the Queen, basically holds court, knows how to get things done, and exhibits a sense of certainty, poise, dignity. All of these things are going to help. So you don't have to, embodying the energy of the Queen here, or a King card, any of the royals, it doesn't mean that you have to abuse power. It means that you embody the energy of, I've got this, I'm in control, I can handle it. I'm not afraid because I've mastered all of those sort of lower frequencies. So you have a chance to really kind of evolve spiritually this month. And it's going to bring also powerful opportunities when it comes to wealth, because when I look in your environment, we have another ace, the Ace of Pentacles. So you have a great idea. It can be capitalized. Also, your thoughts, your energy, your expertise can also be represented or kind of like recognized by other people. So just know that you have a chance to actually make some money, get ahead, but you have to own what it is that you do and really feel it. Something that I also talked to the previous sign about. Manifestation, if I had to pick two cards that would represent manifestation, the quintessential manifester would be the High Empress, the High Priestess rather, because the High Priestess understands how to make it happen. She can see it, she can do it, she believes in herself, but she works in tandem with the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands usually shows somebody holding the earth or a globe or a crystal, representing that vision of where they are, where they're going, and they keep that with them. They know that it's going to happen out there, but they have to first feel it, see it, almost touch it tangibly, and then they project that out into the universe. So in your manifestation exercise, we'll work on really kind of like tangibly feeling and sensing what's going on. And with this particular Two of Wands, we see partnership. So some of you may pull in a partner that completely gets it. And I don't know if you've ever had the experience of meeting a friend and you just click from the very first meeting. It's like, I don't know who you are, but somehow we're going to be best friends. Maybe even it turns into more than a friendship. But what I see with that Two of Wands is you click. So there could be someone who is just going to get behind you and help kind of push you along your path, help with that activation, maybe help you get past that feeling of guilt. And I think that's a great opportunity. It doesn't necessarily have to be love. I'm one of the readers on YouTube that doesn't focus solely on love. If it comes up, I'll say it. This Two of Wands could develop into it, but I see it first as a partnership. So in fact, for many of you, it could come through a work situation because we have the Five of Wands, which is very much a work card. And I think one thing that I'm looking at this one, we talked about jealousy earlier. I get a little sense of that with this. So I would say try to, whenever possible, just see how everything is working for the group benefit. And if there's anything that, if there's someone that needs to kind of go off and do their own thing, let them go. The thing with the Empress card is sometimes she gets too much in other people's energy or business. So I was explaining earlier how you could kind of unhook the energy that you're giving away to other people and refill. It's almost like the Ace of Cups or a battery. You're going to put the energy back in so that you're on 100%. And whatever you decide to do, you're going to have the energy to kind of like see it through to fruition. So whether you're running a marathon, putting the energy into a relationship, or starting a business, you're not going to run out halfway through like you do when your cell phone isn't charged. So that analogy might make more sense since we're technologically sort of like plugged in now. I think some of us have been trying to run the day on half charge. So stop kind of letting people siphon off your energy. With the Five of Wands, the good news is you're busy. So if you own a company or if you just want to know, am I going to be productive? The answer is yes. Motivation is sometimes lacking with the Five of Wands. So I think the important thing for you is to focus on, what is this for? Is this to, are you trying to save up for a vacation? Are you trying to save the world? Are you trying to get a degree so you can get to the next phase? Go to that end point. Use the Two of Wands to meditate with and start to think like, again, let me center myself. Let me ground myself. What am I trying to accomplish? All right, I can get to 6 o'clock today. It's not going to be a big deal. I've got this. So I think that centering yourself is important. But I will say, as we look at your ego, for some of you, there is perhaps a desire or a necessity to move forward, to move away, to walk on from something, because we have the Seven of Swords, something I've also seen a lot of in the past few readings. This Seven of Swords focuses less on what's going on around the person and more on the person itself, or the concept, or whatever's kind of pushing you. So the Seven of Swords typically would show someone taking some of the swords, but not all of them. And you see some people in the background. And what we're seeing here is, what do you want? Don't worry about what your coworkers are saying, what your friends, what your family, what society, what you would have thought you were going to do when you were 12 years old. What is it right now that your intuition, your desire, your heart is saying, I need to do? If it's something other than where you're at, your energy and your soul is saying, I think I want to move on, but I'm afraid that I can't, and I don't want to hurt anybody. But you're hurting yourself if you stay. So just understand that it's okay to move on. The Seven of Swords, it's not surprising that we see the three. Sometimes the three comes through, sometimes the Five of Swords. I see certain cards that come in pairs. So what I'm seeing with the Seven and the Three of Swords is there also could be someone in your life that hurts your feelings, which we talked about a lot here in the past. This can come through when someone lies outright, because we've got the Devil card, cheats, or does something that is not entirely true because these two cards, whether they're upright or reversed, have to do with things that go on behind the scenes. So it's interesting that we see shadow dance. This would be stuff that would happen after work hours, or, off the record, or, you heard from like the rumor mill, something happened. So two things to think about with that. First of all, it's a blessing that you have the knowledge, because now you understand where you stand, what you want to focus on, and if you can trust this person. The other piece is now you have to decide what to do when that happens. So forgiveness or just forgetting it and moving forward. If it's not about a person, I think the Seven of Swords is also cutting your losses. So at a certain point, we get what we need out of a certain situation. So maybe, you're at a job and you've been working for 5 to 7 years, you're overdue for a raise, and you think, I could keep staying here, another 3 to 5 years, or I could just cut my losses, move somewhere else and try something new. So this can also be a card of kind of like pruning and thinking, this isn't growing, this isn't working. So much as you see with orchids or with roses or with any kind of shrub, sometimes you have to take off the growth that isn't actually functioning, or the diseased area, and think, all right, let's stimulate growth elsewhere. And I think for some of you, that's all this is. Where do I want to prune my life? What parts do I not need anymore? And where can I actually start to see more activation? Where can I ignite some ideas and start to see something grow? And when you do that, you have two aces again, the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles. We can turn them upright once you've done the pruning and you've reallocated resources. This is thoughts, this is resources. The two are tied together. And so then you can start to follow through on what your idea is. You can sell the idea, you can get people excited about it, or you can start to do something that you're behind. So you don't have to start your own company, but you could work for a person, a company, or an organization where you feel like it's moving the needle forward in whatever it is that you want to do. Ultimately, healing is what's coming through, the ability to take your heart and bring it into a place where you're happy, you're fulfilled, you're no longer holding on to the past. With every rose, there's a thorn, but there's still roses here and there's still a lot to love. And I would say the one thing that I'm looking at with this particular Three of Swords is this person still knows that there is beauty there. And I think they're looking away from the beauty. And that's what we saw here with the Five of Cups. Don't let one person take away your hope, your faith in humanity, your ability to take risks, to trust yourself, because you've got a lot to be grateful for and a lot that you can manifest with. So these two aces are showing me, for some of you, if you were looking for a new job or a new love interest in your life, you've got a couple of very good options. Aces come through the same way kings, queens, or knights would to me, which is, hey, this is something good. What do you want to do with it? And then we have the Empress here, which is you and only you can kind of make that decision. So some good stuff. It's all about perspective this month. Some people will focus only on this, not on the two aces and the Empress, which is control, which is being able to kind of like create. And as we look at your outcome card, which is arguably the most important because it kind of shows where you're headed, we have a page, which means that you might receive something here. And we have the Page of Wands. And I see the page as an update or an upgrade to what you've got here. So you can develop something further. So if you meet someone, this could go into a much deeper sort of recognition or understanding or love. If you have an idea, you take that idea and someone wants this, you share it with someone. I think that's the other piece is with pages, you need to start to communicate. So for some of you, communication might have sort of broken down in the past with the Shadow card, the Devil card. And so I think that you have a chance now to go from this feeling of, I can't do it, I don't want it, I'm going to look away, back to the love, back to that reason that you originally saw something in that person. So forgiveness, release, developing something new, moving forward. But there is the release that's necessary. You have to unshackle whatever it is from the past so that you can start to speed forward. Remember what I was saying about the energy of your thoughts. They can either anchor you like the Devil or propel you forward like the positive aspects of the Five of Cups. It's a really cool illustration. You don't always see it shown that way. So I was just reading with the Morgan Greer deck. This one is very similar in that it zooms in on the people and it's less about the surroundings. So for some reason today I was kind of drawn to first person perspective cards. I think because your sign needed some of that kind of like, what do I need to do energy, not kind of like what's going on around you. So let's go ahead now and we're going to expand the forecast and we're going to look at each piece of the puzzle with an additional lens, starting with a health lens. Health can be simply what's healthy for you, it can be what's going on in your body, but it can also be something a little bit more symbolic or esoteric. It's your mind, body, and spirit combined. So what we have here is nurturing and, of course, Gaia. So for some of you, it's just saying you need to get outside. There's a grounding energy, of course, with this since Gaia is Earth. So if you're feeling completely out of sorts, maybe you have vertigo, maybe you're sick, maybe you're angry, whatever's going on in your life, this card is saying a change of environment will help your perspective. That old Sheryl Crow song, "A change could do you good." Yes, a change will absolutely help you out with this. So I feel like the tarot jukebox sometimes because I keep getting, my guides will always play songs for me. But anyway, I think that if you could change up your environment, a lot will help. And something that's kind of cool with this, if you're a producer, a creative person, or you're feeling like you kind of have hit a block in your life, this is going to connect to your work card. So we'll talk about these kind of in tandem. By moving location, not only are you going to feel healthier, but you're going to be inspired. So I know I like writing, and I'm sure many writers like to kind of go to a cafe or go outside or go to a library or change up the environment, because if you just sit and write in your house, you're kind of disconnected from the world. So sometimes it's nice to vibe with the energy around you. The same is true for different types of work, or even if it's just work upon yourself, figuring out like, how do I shake this feeling of the blues that I have? Because the Five of Cups could be depression. So if you're getting a sense of depression, then you have a chance now to kind of like shake that up, and you don't have to kind of hold on to that. So I think that really taking care of yourself, getting out of your normal routine, and giving yourself a chance to just get back to basics, ground yourself, get out into nature, that's going to be really key. And the other thing with this is we're looking at nurturing. Maybe it's time to get a healing, whether it's a Reiki healing, I talked about that, massage, or looking at how and what your diet looks like. What are you putting into your body? And whole foods would be better. We're looking at this. This would be like organic. If I ever saw a card, this would be organic food. And then for people like me that like to work with plants, these are all real. I get questions a lot. So if you want to work with nature, putting your hands in the earth, or even just working with something that has dirt, is also going to ground you and take you out of that sense of feeling like, I can't handle this, you know? So some really great stuff. And I do feel like for some of you, that block, the creative block or the mental block or the sort of emotional sadness that you might be feeling, this is the way to unshackle it, to break the chains and say, I've got this. Mother Earth is always there. I'll make sure that I include her when we're doing our meditation. I'm actually going to probably center this with the planets. I'm going to write this down before I forget. All right, so definitely include her. All right, as I said, with respect to wealth, it's absolutely tied together with your health card. So we have yoga. It says your life is enhanced by yoga, stretching, and exercising. Yes, a change of location will make you more productive. I also think that when it comes to me, this is simply a meditation card as well as sort of aligning your chakras. So I think that for some of you, it's in the quiet moments when you're walking the dog like I do, or taking a shower, or when you first wake up, or before you go to sleep, or if you give yourself time to go out in nature and garden or take a hike. It's those quiet moments during which you will get the clarity that you need to be able to come up with the, aha, that's how I solve this. Or, you know what, I really think I understand what I need to do next. Clarity will happen when you give yourself space. Because I didn't see a lot of space. It's something I've seen for almost every sign this month. So I'm trying to give everyone, you don't need my permission, but I'm giving you encouragement to go out and have fun, to do something for you. Because every time I'm seeing cups this month, it's not the fun cups. It's usually like 5 of Cups, 4 of Cups, 8 of Cups. So I want you to be able to go have an Ace of Cups moment or a 3 of Cups moment. Get out with friends or do something that makes you happy. And even if it's just time alone, because that can actually be quite satisfying, especially for those of you that might be like a teacher and you have a ton of students and you just need some time to stop all of the chatter. This is okay. It'll help you. Moving along to, actually, I want to look at one more thing with wealth. The fact that I saw the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, the Page of Wands. Some of you have an idea that you could patent or you could partner with someone and possibly take to the next level. The 8 of Cups is kind of, to me, a different templated version of maybe like Eight of Pentacles. So you can take something and almost manufacture it. There's a chance that people would really want to see this. So just know that it's still in the sort of incubation phase, but it's definitely great for some of you that want to start a business. I see something here that could be very attractive. If you're looking for a raise, the interesting thing here is I feel like you have to state your intention, but it's probably going to be time for some of you to look elsewhere, because we have Seven of Swords, Ace of Pentacles reverse, which means that there's a delay. It could happen, but they may say Q3, Q4 next year. So it's up to you if you want to accept that delay. That's what I sort of see as a yes, but ... And if that string detached sort of thing is not what you want, then don't do it. Okay. On to love now. So this is what we saw with the Eight of Cups here. Eight of Cups, someone from the past, whether it's an actual person or a shadow of the energy that you experienced with them. We have past life relationship. You've known each other before. So this could be a karmic soulmate. I want to actually take one moment to just talk about what a soulmate is, because I think there's a lot of misunderstandings about that. A lot of people will schedule a reading with me and say, I'm looking for my soulmate. And the truth of the matter is, we have soulmates all around us. It can be, I talk about it, and I'll do a video just about Apollo, but he's definitely one of my soulmates. It can be your mother. It can be your best friend. A soulmate means that you have a past experience with them and you are bringing karmic blessings or baggage into this life. It's just a question of what it is that you're bringing in. Sometimes you love each other so much that you just want to experience more of it this life, but you'll still have some lessons to learn. So karma isn't always the thing that you're looking for in a relationship. If you work on yourself a lot, you could just be looking for a divine partner, someone who is there to celebrate and grow and kind of be on the same level as you, not a teacher. And I talked about this in my manifestation video, which I encourage all of you to check out. I'll put a link in the one of the cards here when this is on replay. But in that, I talk about if you're manifesting a future partner, lover, or business partner, whatever, you want to look for someone that's truly a partner, not a teacher, because it makes it a lot easy. So the fact that I'm seeing the soulmate card doesn't mean that you're going to find the love of your life. It might mean that you've got something baggage-wise that you need to unload between you and someone that you've already met or someone that's coming in. And first release the karma. And then once, ironically, that the soul connection has been cleared, you can decide, do I want to keep getting to know this person? Is it still worth the development? So soulmates are complicated. They're not necessarily what you want to, that it shouldn't be the de facto thing that you're looking for. So I think what people think of when they think of soulmates is that deep connection. So one other thing that I'd like to mention is everybody that's a soulmate, at one point during the journey, you didn't know them. So, I mean, you were in the same soul universe, but there is always a first meeting. And so that can be really cool too. Remember your first crush, or remember how exciting it is to try something unknown. The butterflies are just as cool as having the remembrance of, oh yeah, we've had 37 lives together. Here we go again. So remember that you don't have to find the soulmate always. There could be something really rich in a first time meeting or in having a union with the highest possible partner. And that's what I try to manifest in all types of relationships. Give me the highest possible energy that I can experience that's not going to be here to try to push at me and teach me lessons. You're still going to learn, but it won't be for the express purpose of teaching. So that was a lot, but I needed to kind of unpackage it because I think that there is misperceptions about soulmates. So you have a soulmate energy coming in, either literally someone from the past or someone that is new that is carrying karmic baggage. The key thing that you want to focus on during this engagement is, what can we do to heal, release, and learn? And then do we want to stick together through this? That being said, this person could actually be a conduit to meeting the person that you're really supposed to be meeting. That's the Two of Wands. And I see this as sort of a friendship. So this person could come in and they introduce you to someone. So your soulmate may actually introduce you to the person that you love. Just keep an open mind. It's not always the soulmate that you're looking for. The soulmate could be there to help you. That's usually what soulmates are for. And you can have many soulmates, not just one. There's talk about twin flames. Most people are trying their best to understand that. That's different. That's not the same as a soulmate. I've done videos on that before. We've talked enough about this for this month, but I'm just going to say karmic energy needs to be released. Once you release it, you'll decide if you want to stick with them. And then I think that there's a chance for further development if you do that. But there is for some of you, a need to forgive, release, move forward. All right. And that is a nice segue into the Destiny card this month, which this is where your power exists. This is your GPS, and it says honor and trust your feelings. I think that makes a lot of sense. And we see what looks like a Merkaba or a Star of David kind of emanating from the heart chakra. For those of you that happen to work with Metatron, this symbol to me is definitely connected to Metatron, even though this is Archangel Michael. By the way, in a previous chat, people were kind of getting hung up on the word angel. I believe in ascended beings of light. So, someone like Michael could be seen as a different deity in another religion. So just see it as a light-bringing energy. Don't get stuck on the name, because I actually think we just ascribe names to these beings. So don't worry about it. For me, Archangel Michael is about it's a being that comes through to help us find our voice, to protect ourselves. And Kali, for instance, could be a different invocation of Michael. He could come through as many different types of deities. Even I would say he's not Ganesha, but because Ganesha has a little bit more gentler energy. But you look at any mythological or pantheon of deities and sort of put together like where this could fit. Because what we as humans do is we ascribe something that feels familiar with them. So what I'm seeing with this is Archangel Michael comes through to protect you, but I actually see Metatron in this energy. Metatron doesn't really have a shape or form when I connect to it. It is sort of like a construct, and it's a very cognitive sort of thing. So you can use this symbol here that's kind of coming through, and you can imagine that it comes over top of your body. That's how I kind of use that Merkaba. And I will pull it over my body and allow it to clear out the energy. So maybe we can use that star-shaped, we'll pull a star through you, because I think that's easier. And we can use that in the meditation. That's one thing that I got that will actually help. But yeah, when we look at all deities and all religions, I think they're like languages. They're different windows into the divine. And when we're looking at this, that's what this is. It's a way to connect to our higher selves, to read energy. And so don't get stuck so much on the words. Look more at what is it trying to tell you, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead now and do a quick review of everything that we've talked about so far. And I will then take us into the manifestation portion, and we'll use that to kind of like springboard into the meditation. As I said earlier, if you like what you see, this is a great time to also use a super chat or super sticker and just say thanks. But I'm going to focus on the cards while I'm doing this. So as I said earlier, ignition, activation, movement was key. And then as I was picking the deck of cards to use for you today, you get a bonus card, the Eight of Cups flipped out, which to me is all about making and breaking cycles. And we actually don't even see the cups in this one. We see the person deciding, what do I want to do? They're looking over their shoulder at the past, or perhaps they're looking towards the future. When we look at the catalyst, it's really about overcoming guilt. Perhaps it's guilt that you should have because you want to heal something with someone, but it could also be projections, others that are holding you back. This is conditional love, and you want to tune that kind of energy out. This could be a parent, a teacher, a boss that in the past said, you can't do this, you're not good enough, I don't see this energy within you. That's the shadow energy that we see here. And they're masquerading as someone who loves you, but that kind of energy you can tune out because it's love with conditions, AKA it's not unconditional, so you want to let it go. Basically, love yourself, forgive yourself, and then do whatever you need to move away from that feeling of guilt. That's going to help you because, as we saw here, your thoughts will either push you towards the positive or the not so productive and positive. So choose the positive. Get those sort of unicorns or horses going in the right direction. The Empress, accountability. The buck stops here, basically. You're the one that will make the changes. You're the one that can activate and ignite. So do that. Take power. Take ownership. Let go of the past. See the love. See the other person's point of view. You don't have to excuse it. I want to make that point clear. They're accountable too, but you don't have to also forever sort of judge them because that's not our job. We don't have to kind of put out the judgment. We just have to understand why it's happening, and then we can move on to the next phase. You have a couple of aces coming through, an idea, Ace of Wands, and some resources, Ace of Pentacles. There's some delays in having this happen or kind of like show up in the way that it could. So I think that partly once you release this, these things start to show up. Also, just trusting in yourself is going to be key. Interestingly enough, a soulmate could come in and they could be a conduit to help you meet a new love interest in your life or connect you to an opportunity that might pan out. It doesn't necessarily have to be a sexual or romantic relationship. This could be just a teacher that's coming in. Work is really important. I think some of you are at a sort of crossroads where there's a sense of unhappiness, dissatisfaction, or opportunity where you think, I need to get further along this path. It's either going to happen now or never. And so some of you are at that now or never phase. And if you kind of get to that point where it's not what you want, there's something better along the horizon here, because a page is an upgrade of that ace. So you can absolutely, sorry, this ace here, but you can absolutely segue into that if that's something that you want. Looking at health, grounding yourself is key, working with plants, with nature, with Mother Earth. Changing your location will also remove blocks within your life, mental, and also creative and energetic. So change up the environment, and if possible, meditate, because these two things are going to help health and productivity. They're intrinsically tied together. Money overall looks pretty good this month. There is some delays with money going in the direction that you want it to, but I still see this as an opportunity card. And I think for some of you, it's just, are you happy doing what you're doing? And if you don't want to spend money on something, don't let someone guilt you into that. So if it's a purchase of a house or something else, or they're kind of bullying you into it, step back. It has to be unconditional if you decide to invest, whatever kind of form of investment it is. As the other thing that I'm looking at with health is just to really be kind with yourself. The Five of Cups has to do with, it can be depression, it can be sadness, it can be sometimes abuse from the past. You need to heal yourself. The Empress card is about receiving a healing. So again, talking to a therapist, getting a massage, working with someone to kind of undo some of the past energy that you might be holding on to. So I'm going to also do a little bit of a contract release in our meditation. I have a video explicitly about this. It's older, but it's still good. So you can, if you like what we do in the meditation, you can do an even deeper one by going to my main channel and just searching for that. And let's see, for love, we talked at great length about a karmic partnership coming in. Release the connection to the past and just realize that once you do that, you'll be able to discern whether you want to move forward. Either way, I think there's a good friend that's on the horizon for you that could help you. And finally, trust yourself. You know what to do. You don't have to give that energy to anyone else. There's someone in the past for many of you that kind of made you doubt yourself. You don't need to do that anymore. We'll work on bringing some healing energy through and clearing out the karmic ties. But other than that, I feel like you've got it. All right. Thank you so much. By the way, I just saw that someone did a super chat or super sticker. So thank you. Let me go ahead now and look at past, present, and future influences in either helping you with your manifestation or holding back. So the past is obviously going to be something that you want to probably look at releasing or acknowledging. So let's see what the past has to say. Knight of Wands. We got a lot of wands today. We have the ace, we got the page, and now we have the knight. So with all of this energy around sort of ideation and kind of thinking things through, the knight to me is the most active, and he's reversed in this particular deck, or in this particular position rather. So what I would say for you is this is the month to take action. It goes back to what we were talking about in the channel message. So I think that forgiving yourself for maybe missing an opportunity, I think that if you look at it less as missing, but more as you weren't ready until now. Today is the day that you actually feel I can do it. I'm ready. And now you're going to take the reins and really go forward without fear, without doubt. So what we can focus on in the meditation is the mantra, I am ready. And you weren't before, and that's okay. That's why it didn't happen. So whatever you want to create, it will happen now because you're truly ready. And I'm going to try to help you get even more ready when we meditate. All right, so let's take a look at present influences and manifestation. Nine of Cups. So with the Nine of Cups, you really have a chance now to exude joy. Eight of Cups is cycles. Nine of Cups is really going towards the positive and embracing that. Knowing that every day can't be rainbows and unicorns, but there are a lot of great things to celebrate. And if you can stay in a place of gratitude and also really focus on your capabilities, what you bring to the equation that's really, really special. That's how you can embody the 9 of Cups. Okay, so I like that. Future. Temperance, release, being comfortable with yourself, trusting yourself, not feeling like you have to kind of prove anything to anyone. So I feel like this is just being comfortable in your skin. It's the moment that happens in many cases after you show the energy of the sun or the star or the world. You can kind of settle into temperance, which is, I've got this. So yeah, that gives me a really clear indication of what you can focus on in your meditation. But I'm going to bring all of these up to the camera one more time. Inaction from the past, so forgive that inaction. Joy, presence of mind, presence of being, gratitude, that's going to help you as well. And then just feeling like now it's going to happen. I'm ready, I'm letting it go, and I'm just in a place of receiving. All right, for those of you that can stick around for this meditation, it'll help you. It's going to unlock some of these potential keys in your life, or it's going to bring new opportunities into your future. So I'd love for you to stick around. If you're busy and you want to watch this on a replay, you can do that. And one thing that I've been mentioning, I think each and every one of my meditations can be a standalone. So if you're just trying to work on yourself, you could always go to the end of the videos and listen to them, and you'll get different things out of it. But for this sign in particular, we're going to work on manifestation. And I'm going to work on all the things that I kind of scribbled down on the paper. So close your eyes, and we're going to start with the Gaia energy that I saw happening in health. So I want you to find a place on the planet that you love. And as I look at this one, I think it might help if we start in a sense of being able to kind of fly over the planet and find your place. So let's do that. So before we kind of go into the air, I want you to do one thing, which is to tune into your body. And if you feel anything that's weighing you down, maybe it's a fear, doubt, or uncertainty, with this breath, you're going to release that fear. Inhale. Let it go. Feel your energy getting lighter. Feel your thoughts starting to drift, and just allow yourself to be present. I also want you to have some sense of grounding on this earth plane, since we're going to go above it for a second. So either put your feet on the floor or your hands on the table, like I have a marble table here, something, or you can hold on to a grounding stone. And I just want you to feel the sense that you are safe. Feel connected to the earth. Imagine yourself perhaps like a plant or a tree with roots that are protected by and firmly planted in the earth itself, and just open your heart, connect to the heart of the planet, and say, I love you, and feel her say, I love you back, and know that she's got you. Now that you've planted your feet on the ground or your roots in the planet, we can let go a little bit. So I want you in this moment to just sort of imagine that you are able to go out of your body. You can come back at any time you'd like, but you see yourself there, and imagine that you're coming up like a phoenix. Beautiful, bright, full of light, even full of fire if you want to be, and go into the sky like a comet. I was talking about that comet that was orbiting in and out of your life. I want you to kind of go above the earth for a little bit, and your tail can kind of tie you back to your body, so you can always follow that stream of light whenever you need to go back. But in the meantime, take a look at the planet itself. Find something, somewhere, someone that you really want to connect with or to, and allow yourself to drift down. Imagining that you are as light as a feather. For some of you, you may choose to go to your favorite beach. For some of you, a beautiful forest. And for some of you, maybe the safety of, a church or a library or something like that. Find your sanctuary. And that's all I'm going to refer to it as. And I want you to feel within this sanctuary that you are safe. Hear the sounds, whether it's nature or silence. Feel a sense that nobody can find you here unless you want to be found. And in this sanctuary, in this solitude, in this protection, you are able to get back to who you are, what you want. And I want you to really connect with the inner child that perhaps in the past was told you can't do this, or you can't go there, or this isn't going to happen. Use the energy of the Empress that we saw at the center of this, and I want you to take the hand of that little child and just say, it's going to be okay. And feel that the two of you share an energetic connection. And as the child looks up at you, you start to receive the knowledge that you had when you were little before you were told what you should do versus what you knew you could be, what your true soul path was. I want you to kind of gain that ancient knowledge from that inner child and absorb the inner child within you. Start to love it, nurture it. Imagine that you could kind of throw your hands around that inner child and say, we're okay. I'm back to me. And you can even kind of give yourself a hug for a second and feel like you've integrated with that little girl or little boy, and that it's okay now because you're safe, you're here, and whoever in your past wasn't able to support you the way that they should, they don't exist here and now. It's just you. It's just the child. It's the sound of my voice helping you see this truth, but that's it. There's nobody else present. And I want you in this moment to feel fully whole, like you are one of the ace cards that we saw, like the Ace of Pentacles. You're this beautiful, resplendent sphere of light. And now instead of that being that phoenix, I want you to imagine that you are a star rising in the sky. I want you to see your light and brilliance shining out on the earth, connecting to all the things that you want to do, the people that you want to touch, the impact that you want to make, the healing that you wish was possible. All of this is possible. All these things are within your reach. As a star, you have the power to create, to destroy, to orbit things in and out. You are able to manifest. You're beyond the Empress card. You are the star. And I want you to imagine that multi-pointed star that I was showing you that was in your destiny card. And I want you to see whatever amount of rays that are coming out of you, multiply it by 5 or 10. Just see all of your energy start to increase, all the points of light increase. And I want you to really now realize there's nothing holding me back. I am ready now. I wasn't ready before, but I am ready now. I'm grateful for the experiences. I'm grateful for the challenges and the blocks because they have given me context. They've given me perspective. I release, and if you want to say this with me on the repeat, you can. I release all of the contracts from the past, all of the pain, all of the regret. And in releasing these contracts with people, with situations, with myself, I free myself. I'm ready now. I'm ready to move forward to create my own world. I am not beholden to anyone. I am ready. I am. I am. It's very powerful because a lot of times we're trying to talk ourselves into it. So I want you to really think, I am ready, until you truly are ready. And that can be your mantra this month. 3 words can change your entire destiny. See the rays of your light, because you are now the resplendent star, reaching out and attaching to the things that you wish to create. The love that you want, the projects that you want to see take shape and form. See everything coming into light, into focus. Feel connected to all of them as this resplendent star starts to follow that trail of light back towards your body, away from the sanctuary, away from the stars, back into your body, but taking with it the perspective, the wisdom, the light, the readiness, the preparation to create, to embody, to be. Take a really deep breath, take your time on this, and allow for the energy to integrate. And imagine that your light body and your physical body snap into place. Share a little bit of this love and light with the planet, particularly areas that have been ravaged by wildfires, by storms or famine, sending this sort of energetic hug around the globe. Send a little bit of love to everybody that's present today as well, knowing that this universal love has no end, no beginning. You're not going to feel tapped out. This is unconditional love that we're all sending to one another. I wish you the best on your path, on your journey, and I thank you for joining me today. Before you open your eyes, create a circle around your body, sealing this intention, seeing it sort of light up around you, and imagine that this disc of light will follow you, will protect you, will conceal your energy and keep you on your path. Gently open your eyes when you're ready. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your journey. Thank you for those of you that have been kind enough also to send a super chat or a super sticker as well. It really means a lot. I see that some of you have done that. After the reading, like I said, I will thank each and every one of you, and I read the chat after it goes live as well. If you would like to connect with me, and I hope you do, on all the different social media networks, let me tell you a little bit about how you can do that. First of all, the easiest way is through my website. So if you want to book an appointment, if you want to become a patron, if you want to follow me on social media, pretty much everything is right there. So it's nicholasashbaugh.com. And I've seen my moderators put that out at least once. So feel free to follow that link. You can just use my name to follow me on YouTube, Patreon, or Facebook. And Patreon is a great way to give back in a consistent way. It's like $1 a month, and you can kind of set it and forget it. There's also a join button here on YouTube that does the same. So anyone that has like a green colored name in chat, they've done that, and I want to say thanks. Patreon, though, is another way. If you want to join me on Instagram, it's also my name, but there's an underscore between it. So feel free to join me there. I'd love to get more people following me because I do use stories, but I can't put the links in until I get 10,000 subscribers. So if you watch this and you want to stay in touch, do this, and then eventually I'll be able to put reminders there that you can click through to. On Twitter, I'm Ashbaugh, and I tweet out reminders before each reading. If you're old school, you can also join me on PayPal. And send any amount that works for you. And finally, super chat. I'll stick around for a minute or two if any of you want to send a sticker here at the end. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this. I feel like it was a really powerful reading for you. And the one thing that I want you to focus on moving forward is this Temperance card, which is that feeling of being at ease with yourself and just being able to sit in this new power, being ready and expecting something wonderful to happen. That's another thing that you can do in your meditation is just think to yourself, today could be an amazing day. I'm ready for something wonderful. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Ryan, for all of your work as well. I couldn't do this without my lovely moderators. And thanks everyone for cooperating and making this a safe space and a lovely community. That's my goal here as well. So thank you so much for those of you that listened to this a few times as well. I appreciate that. That helps me too. So however you decide to support, whether it's like, share, subscribe, or rewatching this, I love and appreciate you. I'll see you soon. We have a couple more readings. I'll be back again on Sunday and on Monday. And that will be for Aquarius and Pisces. So again, Sunday and Monday, I believe they're both at 9 Pacific time. Check my website for specific details. Check my YouTube channel. And there's also this little thing that says set reminder. You can use that and it will actually email you. And of course, if you haven't hit the bell, please do that because that bell icon will send you a live notification whenever I do anything live. So with that being said, wishing you much love, much life, always life, much love and light in your life. Thank you for being a part of this meditation and this reading today. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.